Hello, I'm Magdalen Rose. In this video, I will tackle the complex question of our time, is Douglas Rushkoff from the future? And show evidence that supports my hypothesis that, yes, he totally is.
And he had a very long commute by car, would listen to the radio on the long drive. Then he started to change.
I can't take these screaming savages.
The only people who ended up buying that book, really, were marketers and like Russian propagandists.
It's difficult in 2019 to do a video on the collected works of a specific person. No matter how admirable a person's life and work might seem, it's only a matter of time before they're exposed as an evil lizard person. Maybe it's something worse. Maybe he hates dogs. But regardless of the atrocities that we may discover in the coming years about Douglas Rushkoff, I think I can conclusively say that he is from the future. Douglas Rushkoff is a media theorist and writer who essentially has been trying to warn us for years about how media and marketing shapes our world. But we didn't listen, and now a D-list reality TV star is President of the United States. So, cool. My first exposure to Rushkoff's work was in high school when my teacher showed us The Merchants of Cool. It's a Frontline documentary about how marketing companies spy on youth culture and then package and resell a distilled version back to the youth of America, with a corporate tie-in.
For instance, Cornerstone hires kids to log into chat rooms and pose as just another fan of one of their clients.
It was a real awakening for me, and the beginning of my time as an insufferable teen cynic.
Oh my god, you do know that corporate America is just trying to brainwash you into buying their products. Have you even seen The Matrix?
People talk about media a lot, especially the media. But what exactly do we mean when we use this term? Media is the collective communication outlets used to store information. Imagine if the whole of human knowledge was housed in a pocket dimension. An outlet like news, books, photography, advertising, etc. are all openings through which information can get barfed into the real world. Thank you. Thank you. No, it's an honor. Thank you. We basically live in an environment where information gets barfed at us from all sides. And where there's barf, there's usually a virus. In his book, Media Virus, Rushkoff breaks down how pieces of information become viral phenomena by using the exact same methods as a virus. And like a whole lot of other stuff too, but we can't get to all of it, we'd be here all day. So, how is media like a virus? A virus enters the body with an innocent-looking protein shell, but the sweet protes are just a Trojan horse for the virus, which no self-respecting body would ever let in the door. I mean, just look at them. Ugh. Don't even get me started on bacteriophages. Friggin' elder god bullshit. Once inside, a virus will attempt to overwrite the cell's DNA with its own. If the cell is resistant to the virus will fail. But if the cell doesn't have the defenses it needs in place, the virus will succeed and replace the DNA with its own. Okay, so how do we apply this to the media? Let's take a look at the 2013 song Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke.
So right now, like, you're supposed to be seeing the Robin Thicke music video, right? Because that's like the obvious thing to put here with just my voice talking over it. But I realized once I looked at it that I can't do that because it's literally just women walking around with their tits out. Like, no censorship. I have no idea how he got this on YouTube, but I can't put it in my video or I'll get like flagged and stuff. So I'm just gonna give you this delightful picture of a puppy and hope that that's cool. Fuck you, Robin Thicke, for ruining my video.
The enticing Trojan horse is the catchy beat and the celebrity appeal. These things are fun and exciting, so our defenses are lowered. It's just a delightful pop song. But after the song was released, media critics began to pull apart the messaging and put Robin Thicke on blast. The underlying message, or DNA of the song, had some pretty icky things to say about consensual sex. Whether or not your brain can spot the underlying message is largely up to your level of media literacy. Your media literacy is your defenses against any given media virus. Now, hang on. I know this is all sounding very alarmist, so I want to point out that a media virus isn't inherently bad. It's just a vector of exposure. The movie Frozen is also a media virus, but instead of having an icky DNA that's being transferred, it has all these good messages about sisterhood and self-acceptance. And Disney-exclusive collector edition Funko Pop Elsa action figures. Honestly, exposing media viruses is a big part of media criticism right now. What is the underlying DNA of thing? What is being transferred? In hindsight, most people can see that viral media played a huge role in the American 2016 election. A lot of people got suckered during that year, and a fair amount are still nursing their bruised egos. So it might frustrate you to learn that Douglas Rushkoff has been trying to warn us about this sort of outcome since 1994. Media viruses spread rapidly if they provoke our interest, and their success is dependent on the particular strengths and weaknesses of the host organism, popular culture. The more provocative an image or icon, like a videotaped police beating or a new rap lyric for that matter, the further and faster it will travel through the datasphere. We do not recognize the image, so we cannot respond automatically to it. Our interest and fascination is a sign that we are not culturally immune to the new virus. The success of the memes within the virus, on the other hand, depend on our legal, moral, and social resiliency. If our attitudes about racism, the power of police, drug abuse, and free speech are ambiguous, meaning our societal code is faulty, then the invading memes within the media virus will have little trouble infiltrating our own confused command structure. So according to this theory, the characteristics that make us most vulnerable to manipulation is not ignorance or stupidity, but moral ambivalence. If you don't take time to create values around a given issue, then you don't have any built-up immunity to viral information from, say, hot takes from internet charlatans. I'm just guessing. Is drug use okay? Is abortion a human right? Is the government knee-deep in a conspiracy to keep everyone from knowing that the Earth is actually flat for some reason that no one can really explain? It's important to know where you stand on these issues, or someone could potentially decide for you. One of the reasons I think this is so important to talk about is what I witnessed firsthand in 2016. I watched someone who had never been particularly political get pulled into these right-wing talking points by media vectors like Sam Harris and Dave Rubin. See, the problem is that he was listening to their podcasts at work. He was just letting his brain marinate in these men's words for hours a day. And slowly but surely, he began to change. He would call and talk almost obsessively for hours, regurgitating talking points, word for word, sometimes with even the same inflection as Harris and Rubin. It was like he had been transformed into a speaker through which these other men were talking to me. He had been overwritten. And from what I can tell, this is not an isolated incident. Many people have reported seeing friends and family change during this time. Their signals hijacked by disingenuous media outlets and political swindlers. For a deeper dive into that, you can check out the independent documentary The Brainwashing of My Dad. Link in the description.
Till that period of my life, I never paid attention to politics. So that's when I started reading the newspapers, listening to the radio, and that's how I became a Republican.
With the 2020 election approaching, I think it's important to start now. Look into the issues, decide where you stand on them, and build up an immunity, because the next media plague is coming, and we all better be ready. I forgot to explain why Douglas Rushkoff is from the future. I'm sorry.